we are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back with another video. It is July for us. It's very, very hot. And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to, as you come in, to hit subscribe and like. Welcome, everyone. Hi, Ron. How are you? How is your summer? How things going? Any barbecuing? Any boating?
Hey Val, no, that was I think it's been about a week and a half or 2 weeks since our last session, and my leg is still messed up. I'm still trying to play low key, but I'm definitely hobbling a lot better around the house right now, and I've actually moved to the wheeled walker, so I can get from one end to the other in about half the time now. So big improvement. I'll read a little bit here directly from the letters, and we'll kind of the moment a person realizes that all of our willpower. Okay, our willpower is our drive. If you believe in chakra and subscribe to that, that's the solar plexus. That's our willpower, our drive, what we want to do, what we want to get done. It's all being drawn from universal consciousness, and the willpower can be increased by calling on our source of being for increasing that willpower. And so that person can start to begin that our willpower is not limited. And if we draw on it and we call on the strength from the universal consciousness, it can really, really increase, and we can really help shape our environment. It says that everybody of every gender, race, nation, religion, level of resources and income, from a pauper to a king, is all equally important in the moment of now. And that's something else that, I guess we can kind of, we have to live in the now, because that's what is present with us now. It's not what we did 10 minutes ago or yesterday or not tomorrow. It's what we're doing today, what we're thinking about now at this time. And the true differences only arise between each person of what we give ourselves in the moment to the next moment and the rest of the day. And so, for instance, he's saying a king or prime minister can be remembered for their goodness, and a person that's born to an impoverished family who may not have developed their abilities to any high level, but as long as they give all to their service to their environment, will eventually be revered as a king and as a friend to others around him. And that person will also have contributed to life, okay, like us here right now, you and I interacting with people watching this video, because the nature of the life force is unconditional love and service. And it also is work and harmony in giving whatever is necessary for the fulfillment of the needs of somebody else. I've tried to be of that mind for a long time, long before I even started reading the letters. And it served me very well. I guess I started doing it because maybe my father, when he was a manager at a grocery store many, many years ago, treated people with respect regardless of who they were. And unbeknownst to me, that rubbed off to me. And I've always tried to treat people that way, regardless of who they are, whether it's somebody that I know as a friend or a total stranger, whether I feel threatened by that person or not, and I think it's worked very, very well for me. Nothing is perfect, of course, but I think it's positively shaped the environment. And I think it also, by and large, it makes people at ease. And whether they like you and become a friend or not, that's kind of irrelevant. But I think it sets the tone for a conversation or whatever you're doing. Maybe it's a disagreement, but if you can approach it calmly and rationally, then you have a good ground to start with. People I know, they're just programmed that way too. There's a lot of anxiety throughout their life. They always worry about what if, and I can't help think that a lot of times things come true because they're wishing that upon themselves instead of trying to think the positive outcome, what it could be. To get a little further into the letter here, Christ is using the example of somebody who's probably working at either at a care center or in a hospital or something like that. And he's talking about a tea giver. So maybe it's even a reference to a maid working for a family. I don't know, but you can fill in the blank. And it's talking about a tea giver. And if that person who's a tea giver silently calls for an inflow of divine consciousness into their consciousness, the greater and the more penetrating will their radiant life force be to a patient or the recipient. The sick person may not be aware of what's happening. And that's kind of the idea, it's not like, hey, I'm going to do something for you to, do it in quiet, do it yourself. That's one thing Christ did command everybody to don't parade around and say, oh, look at all the great things I did, right? But if, the sick person may not be aware, but if there's a room full of sick people being attended to by this caregiver, they will recover more swiftly than those who receive the tea from somebody who just tosses it down and walks away without any kind of a glance of recognition or without a word and a kindly thought. And, personal experience for me, when my mom was in her rest home for a while, very true there. If the attendant just comes in there and walks away, that's one thing. And you kind of like, oh, here's my food. Yeah. Versus somebody who maybe engages in conversation. Hey, how are you doing? Can I help you with anything? Whatever. It's that whole attitude thing there. And the energy really does pass off to the other person. There are people, one person, that's all it takes. Somebody who even just cleans the floors and empties bedpans. If they possess the realization that they can enter a room and become the most important and possibly only distributor of good among people handing out things or in and out of the room, a caretaker, whatever, that person can leave behind a legacy of increased strength in every patient.
I agree with you, Ron, that as a mom, right? Even when I remember when someone would hit my son at school and I'll get that call, the first thing you do is the first thing you want to find out is that, are the kids okay, right? Kids are going to fight. They're going to disagree. They're going to make up and be best friends tomorrow. So there's no need for me to display anger, hatred, and go after the other kid, the family. And I do know other people who've done that, right? But guys, that's why Ron and I are reading the letters. And that's why we're sharing our message with anyone who's open to listen. So
it goes on further. It says here that, yes, you and I, the Christ, meaning him, we think and act, everything we do and think and act is of our consciousness. And that consciousness is life force. With the activity of our minds, we talked earlier many times now about how we, energy, attraction, repulsion is all part of everything. And if we put out negativity all the time, that's what we're going to receive back. Our consciousness and our life force gets shaped by what we think and how we act within our environment. And it's not, I guess if that's an ingrained habit that you try to be positive, that you try to be kind throughout your life, I think you're going to have a very different outcome, even though bad things might happen. Those are going to affect you less than if you're constantly negative. And just the whole thing right now in politics on both sides, it's to me, it's crazy that we're all still Americans. We're all here for the same reason. Why can't we get along, And it's building to such a crescendo. I don't know, what the tipping point is going to be before we can maybe reel some of the stuff back in. But ultimately, we want to try and leave behind a legacy of increased strength and radiate a positive force. And the only difference between, moving on here, between, he says, of you, meaning us, and Muhammad and he himself, Christ, known on earth as Jesus, is the kind of thought and feeling that Christ and Muhammad radiated to others. They both radiated life-giving consciousness, energy to the world. And he's asking us, what are we radiating? What are we radiating into the world? And kind of to wrap this up, Christ says again, remember when he was during the time of great stress, when he was, up to the time of prior to when they crucified him, he cursed the fig tree and it shriveled to its roots. Just simple thought energy, right? And not long after that, he was roundly cursed by the Roman soldiers and the Jewish priests alike. And he was shriveled to his roots before he died on the cross. Remember that whatever you hand out to others, make certain you'd like to receive from them. And a cup of water that's handed to somebody with love, it can bless and uplift that person. Or if it's handed out with ill feeling, it can make the recipient feel small and of no account, and a little weaker, no doubt, too, and a bit more depressed. So what part are you playing in your environment? Thank you, Val. Yeah. And, now more than ever, especially if you're here in the United States, because the world is looking and laughing at us right now, shaking their collective heads. It's really out there. We need to learn to get along with our neighbors a lot better. We are on the same team. We have some differences, but it's no reason to go around and hating, shouting, shooting, whatever. Just agree to disagree and let's try to get along. The world will be a lot better place.
All right, guys. See you in the next one.